Hello friends, and welcome to my channel Codeunit. Uh, as in the last part of the video we have learned about the install code unit concept. Okay, and to extend it further, in today's video we will learn about the upgrade code unit. Although we have learned a bit about the upgrade code unit in the previous video, but today we will see in more detail and in more depth that how we can create the upgrade code unit and what exactly the use of that. Okay, so I have already opened up the extensions page, and this is in this page we can clearly see all the apps which I have already installed or available in my Business Central. So in the last video we have installed this extension which we have developed by us. So this extension name is AL Project 1, and if we see the page, so here this table is currently consists 3 fields and is having 2 records. All right, now let's head to the Visual Studio Code, and this is the code which we have written for that application or extension. So here what we have done so far is that this is our table, this is our page, and this is our install code unit. All right, so if you guys want to know more about install code unit, then I request you to please watch my previous video which I have made last week so that you could understand the concept of install code unit. In today's video we will only learn about the upgrade code unit. So generally first we have to understand that what exactly the use of upgrade code unit and why it is necessary. So for example, we all know that every time a new version releases by the Microsoft of the Business Central, so they make some changes in the base application, and thus if your customized extension based on the base application, then it may require some bit of the changes. Okay, also this is the one case. And if I talk about the second case, so for example last week when we have installed this app, so if I go to this app.json, we can see the version is 1.0.0.0. all right, but now let us consider one hypothetical situation where you have received one requirement from your user that they want one more field in this table, and they do not want this install text field. Okay, for whatsoever reasons, as I mentioned that it's an hypothetical situation. So this means that although your application is very much running in your database and data is also available there, but now you have to make some changes in it. And changes are like that you have to add one more field also because the user does not want this field, and thus you want to remove this field, and this could be a breaking change because this field is having the data also. So how we can do these changes? Because my application is already running and is currently having a version 1.0.0, and now because I have to do these changes in my application, in my current application, so the very first thing is that I have to open my extension, which I have already done so, and go to my app.json file, and let's increase the version. Okay, and because I'm changing this part only and not this part. So if you remember in the last part of the video we have mentioned that these 4 dots also have some meaning. Like this first is the major, this denotes the major version. Like if you are working on on some breaking changes, if you are doing so in your current application, then it may be nice that if you change the major part of your version. So on, this denotes the minor, this denotes the build, and this denotes the revision. All right. So the first step is that I have to change my version. Okay, and I'm changing my current version from 1 to 2. All right. Now let's go back to your table again. And because my user does not want this field now, so we have some properties available in the table through which we could tell the system that this field is now not at all required. So how we can do it? So we have these properties called obsolete reason, obsolete state, and obsolete tag. So let me first select the obsolete state. And if you do not know that what are the options available in this property, so you can press Control space, and thus you can see that these are the three options which are available. So because we do not want it now, so I can select the removed part, and pending if I select, this means that although in the version 2 of this application this field may be available, but it it will be deprecated in the near future or whenever the next version will come. So it is like a warning for your user. So but I do not want to give any warning to the user because this is requested by the user only. So what I'll do is that I select the removed here. So this means that now this will not be available. And see, as soon as I added this property, you can see that in the page I have started getting an error. And see, the error is that field install text is removed. Alright, now let's see and add one more property, which is obsolete tag. So if you see the definition, it says that specify a free form text to support the tracking of where and when the object was marked as obsolete. So it's like a string property where you can write some bit of text in it to just to identify or tell your developer that when actually some other developer deprecated this field. So for example, we can define branch, build, or date of obsoleting the object. So what we can define is that since version 2 we have obsoleted this, and the date is 12th of September 2021. Alright, now as soon as you define this, and let's go back again to your page, so you can see that now along with this error that field install text is removed, we are getting the tag also that version 2 and date is 12th September 2021, so that the current developer gets an idea that on which version this field was obsoleted and on which date, or like you can define more information about it. Okay, along with that, if you want to cite any reason, so you can cite the reason here, but let's say user does not want to continue with this field. Okay, so it may be useful for you or whatsoever. Now when we have done this, we have another requirement that we want one new field. So let's create one more new field and let's write the name of this field as new install text. All right, so now we have defined our new field also here. So let's go back to your page again, and here what we can do is that we should remove this part or this field and type our new field name. So record dot new install text. All right, so now we are done with our table and we are done with our page. All right, now if we see this code unit, because we have mentioned that it is an install code unit, and because we can see it from the subtype, and also we know that this code unit we created initially when we were first time installing our extension, and we wanted that whenever my table, whenever I installed this extension for the very first time, my table gets populated with these records. All right, but after that I do not want, because now I'm working on the second version of this extension and my table is currently having these records. So I do not want to continue with this code at least. All right, so we can see that we have already added one condition that if my table is empty, then only this functions will run. So on a safer side, we know that now when we install our extension, the second version, this code will not run because my table is already having a records. All right, but as we have added one data type here, so I just want to give you an idea that what are the other options we have, or the options are available with us, through which we could make sure that certain code in the install code unit or in the upgrade code unit will run only when you want. Okay, so what we can do is that we have one function available like nav app dot get current module info, and it takes the parameter of module info. Okay, so data type we have already defined the variable. So what it will done is that it will pass the extension information in this variable. So what we can do is that we can write that if my module app version, and specifically in the app version, the major, if you remember, this first portion is called major. Okay, in the app version part. So what we can do is that if my module app version, and specifically the major part of it, is 1, then only I want to run this code, otherwise not. Okay, and now I'm very much sure that my current application is version 2.0, so this means that this code will never run, and I'm not deleting this file because I'm upgrading my extension, so I do not want to delete the original files and whatever the code was written there. Okay, now let's create a new file of AL, and let's type the name is upgrade code unit. So okay, I'm getting some sort of error, I think. Cd code unit. Go to output. Okay, I think something is missing. Let me delete this file again, and let me download the symbol. Symbols have been downloaded. Now let's create a new file, name it upgrade test.al. Okay, and Now type the ID and the name. The name will be upgrade code unit test. Okay, so we know that we do not want this code, and the very first code which we will write is to define the subtype of my code unit, and this time it will be upgrade. All right, now when we define the subtype in my code unit as upgrade, and after that if I type the trigger, then you can see that these types of triggers we have available with the upgrade code unit. So the triggers like on check preconditions, on upgrade, on validate. So here, if you want to check some conditions in your company, in your database before your upgrade code will run, so in those part you can use these triggers. And on upgrade per company per database, you can use it only when whatever the code you want to run while upgrading your extension. And the third trigger, which is on validate, this means that if you want to check that your upgrade code runs properly and you want to validate the results of your upgrade code, then you can use these triggers. All right, and because our requirement is that we need to define the values in my new field which I have added in the table, so I will use this trigger on upgrade per company. Okay, so let's use this trigger now and define begin end. And same here guys, I will define two variables with install code unit table and module, let me see, module info. Okay, I have not defined the var here, so now module info. All right, now first thing is that we want to make sure that on which version I want to run this code. So same we will use here also module. Now if my module app version and specifically the major part of is 2, then only I want my following code to be run. Okay, so after this, let's say if sample table dot find set, then repeat sample tab dot new install text. Here what we can do is that I can write new plus sample tab dot install text. And see guys, when I'm selecting this obsoleted field, it is currently showing the caption in a strike through format, so that developer also knows that this field is now obsoleted. So let me select this. So what this code will do, that whatever the value is currently available in the obsoleted field, I'm transferring that value or that data in my new field along with this caption new. Okay, sample tab dot modify until sample tab dot next equals to 0. All right, simple. So this means that in my upgrade code unit, we are first checking that if my application version and specifically the major part of that application version is 2, then only find all the records in my install code unit table and then transfer the data available in the obsoleted field in my new field and modify. Okay, and this is system is doing in a repeat until, so that whatever the number of records currently available in your table, all records will get modified and the data will be available automatically in your new field, so that the user does not need to do the things manually in already stored data. Okay, so now we are done, and let's build this project and deploy this project and see. Currently this app version 1 is already available with us, so let's build the project. And now as soon as you build your project, your second app, your upgrade app is now showing here. Now the next step is, as we know, press Ctrl F5 and deploy your project. It is currently doing, and it has successfully deployed your package. Although the error is coming that the could not open the specified startup page, so it is not at all necessary. It's because we have not defined in the launch.json file. Okay, so now let's go back to your Business Central and close this and open it again. First we will check the extensions page and see if my extension version is upgraded or not. So click here, click on extensions, and it will open up the extensions page. And this is our extension AI project 1, and now see the version is changed from 1 to 2, right? In the starting part of the video, I showed you guys that the version was initially 1, but now after the deployment the version is changed. So first thing is already done, and now you will not be able to see the version 1 in the list, okay, anywhere, right? Because you have already upgraded your extension. So we have only version 1 is available with us. Now open the page, install code page, click here and see we have these 3 fields available, but this time the old field, which was like the name was install text, is not at all available, and my new field is available, which is new install text. And see, initially the data available in the old field was red and red, okay, but in the upgrade code unit, what we did is that we added or append new caption in the data of the old field and transfer in the new field. So that is why this new caption is showing here. And this is, through this result we can clearly see that during the time of deployment, how system runs the upgrade code unit which you have defined in your extension and runs the code whatever you have mentioned or whatever you write in those functions. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you, that the upgrade code unit or the install code unit are very useful, I would say, the types of the code unit through which you can actually configure your extension during the deployment only. Now there is no requirement of the developer or your functional consultant that after the deployment you start the Business Central and define the or configure the basic settings or the setups which require your application to run successfully. You have done or configure everything at the time of deployment only. Okay, so I hope guys you have now at least gets an idea, the basic idea of how this terminology of upgrade or the installation code unit actually works or runs. Now I leave it to you guys that you can use your creativity, your innovation, that how you can use it or how you can use these concepts in your development. Okay, so with this note I want to close this video now, and I hope if you like my video, I request you to please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching the video.